Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and the guys are here. Let us get this party started. First of all, fresh from the Cayman Islands. Can we say that, Cayman Damon? You checking on your
Yeah,
funds?
we can definitely, yeah, right. Yeah, all these Cayman funds would have been depleted during COVID.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, but I'm here chilling. We're just resuming the shows that we used to do. It's the first one back, so I'm definitely looking forward to it, and hopefully I will be making a deposit someday.
Okay. I have no doubt about that. Damon, how long has it been since you've done shows there in the Cayman Islands?
Almost 4 years it's
Wow.
been since we've been off because it was at least a year before COVID. So yeah, a lot changed. The airport's been expanded. The place I gave Juanita's birthday party on the beach where we stopped
Hmm.
with the ship is no longer there.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, part of that beach is actually eroded. It's all crazy. So yeah, the tide has shifted, so to speak. But
What is
um,
going on?
indeed. So yep. But we're here.
Okay, cool, cool. And Cameron, what beach are you hailing from?
I am hailing from the south side of Chicago Beach,
Oh,
between
so
these
Stony Island.
Yeah.
between
Yes.
these eight walls of my room. Yes, just been election day is a holiday now, and I voted early, so I had the day off completely.
Oh, so now I know that schools are closed because they may be polling places. Is it? It's an official holiday in the state, in the city?
It's an official state holiday. Yes, so everybody got the day off to go vote. And I hope people took advantage.
I do too.
And by that I mean they either voted early or voted by mail, so they can just relax the whole day.
Now, you guys also, in addition to the U.S. Congress seats that you voted for in those elections, you also had a gubernatorial election with
Hmm.
our favorite Darren Bailey, Republican from South Illinois. He
Darren
is
Bailey.
running against the incumbent JB Pritzker, the Democratic governor.
Yeah, I am anticipating. Um, I'm a little privileged to live in a mostly a Democratic state where Chicago has a lot of sway and a lot of pull, but I'm definitely anticipating a bit of a Democratic sweep. There are a lot of smear campaigns going on against some black candidates. Attorney General Kwame Raoul, for
Hmm.
instance, and of course, in the next 2 years, State's Attorney Kim Fox. They've been trying to get her out of there
For a
since
while.
she took office.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there are some really important amendments on the ballot.
Hmm.
Illinois is looking to add um, collective bargaining, union workers' rights to assemble. They want to enshrine it in the state constitution. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
very imp, important. As well as there is an ordinance to get Cook County to plant more trees, which is also very critical. As as
That
well,
is on the ballot?
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, we want to raise the tree canopy in certain locations because neighborhoods with lower tree canopies are about almost like a whole 5 degrees hotter than
Wow.
away from the lake.
Well, I get that. It just amazes me sometimes the things they will put on the ballot, and we'll talk about some things that I found a little bit later in terms of what is on the ballot and what is to be determined. Damon, you got your voting in early as well.
Yes, we did. And I didn't know the tree count was on the ballot, but I did want to contribute to that tree population with some small plants.
Okay.
And that is on the ballot, so we'll talk about that as well. Well, I'm glad that you guys did your civic duty, and I hope that others did as well. I can't talk about it enough about how important this election is and that people get involved. And we talk about it in the What You Need to Know newsletter, and we'll talk about what Khameron is talking about, the other side of it, the election workers and those that that we should really hold in high esteem. Many who have been threatened, or there have been some things said and calls made against them. So we'll talk about that as we go on today. All right. So let's check out that What You Need to Know newsletter. It is our attempt to super serve the African American community. We put it out once a day for 5 days. That it would be Monday through Friday. We would love to have you subscribe to the newsletter itself. It's absolutely free. Please go to SybilWilkes.com to subscribe, and we'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. Young Khameron, tell us about these violent threats against election workers.
Yeah, well, this article specifically covers election workers in Maricopa County, Arizona. But according to Reuters, they have collected over 1,600 pages of documents containing violent threats across hotly contested counties across the United States proper. And this is between July 11th and August 22nd. There were over 140 threats and hostile communications with regards to poll workers. People have been recorded saying, you all will be executed, will wire their limbs and drag them through the streets by a car. And this is obviously inspired by all of the right-wing corroborators of this election was stolen story, which has quickly become a bit of a rite of passage to see if you can get in the radical right camp. There is a story of an election worker who had photographs taken of her on her way to work. And she quit that same day. And this person wasn't even considered a quote unquote political person. They just wanted to keep a job. And so this is, the state of the union, Sybil.
Wow.
This is the way that things are, the extent that people are willing to go to discourage people and to disrupt the democratic process.
The state of Arizona is a case study.
Indeed.
If you look back to the 2020 election, in which some guy just came out of nowhere and said, I will recount the votes for you. He had no credibility whatsoever, but the Republicans allowed him to come in and recount these votes. And they were looking for ridiculous things, like saying that they had found parts of the vote, of the ballot, that had elements of wood from paper from China. That was one of the allegations. Of course, in the state of Georgia, we know through watching the January 6th investigations that 2 Black women were threatened, a mother and a daughter, to the extent that they were people who were supporting Donald Trump, came to their homes and threatened to arrest them and to do bodily harm to them. This used to be the most innocent and yet one of the most necessary jobs that we need in the election process. And now they are driving people away from it. Damon, did you ever work the polls?
I didn't work the polls, but I did work in the precinct office for the Harold Washington campaign in my automatic precinct office. So it was being involved with the process. That was my first time voting. And then some of these threats to some of these poll workers sound like, it's like what you'll do if you talk back to your mom.
Right. Yeah.
In our household, some of the parents would threaten you just as bad. I would drag you down this block. But anyway, yes, I have worked with. Thank you. I think I kind of flubbed the joke. But yeah, I've been involved with the process, but never at the polling place. But it was always like nice little ladies sitting there. So you never would think that they would now have to be protected and concerned about this safety. It seemed like an usher board would come down there and take care of business at the church, and go on home. And now you need protection and have to hide your identity. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is not my experience in working at the polls, though I'm glad that it was like very wholesome
So
back in
that
the
was my
day.
next question. What kind of experiences did you have, Khameron?
I was in election coordinator, so it's pretty much my job to be like the boss of all of the poll workers. And yes, it was facilitated by a bunch of like more seasoned Black women. A lot of them were like very drunk. Um,
Oh.
and I recall one of them like leaning over to me and whispering to me, "What are you doing after the polls close?" I was like, I'm counting the votes. That's what I'm doing.
Oh my
That's what I'm
gosh.
doing. It was,
Wow.
yeah, she was very forward. Um,
I never had that experience. I worked the polls during the Harold Washington's first campaign, and first of all, I never had anyone come up. Well, maybe it was just me. I don't know, but none of the older men hit on me or asked me what I was doing after the polls closed, and they were all really quite nice and very helpful and guiding me through the process and helping me do my job. So but I find this so distressing that, as you said, Khameron, this is the state of the United States. This is where we are. This is who we have become, many of these people, as U.S. citizens. And if this race does not go the way some of us need it to, we are very close to calling each other comrade and other things like that. I'm not kidding. I'm very, very concerned about the future of this country and what will happen. What will happen if the Biden administration doesn't get the people in the House and the Senate in order to help him in the fight against Russia? Because we know that Donald Trump and his ilk like the idea of their connection to Russia. They admire Vladimir Putin, and this is a difficult time. This
yeah,
really
and
is.
I mean, of course, we can't like gloss over the fact that over 70% of white Americans believe in some facet of the great replacement theory.
Yeah.
Not to mention, over 70% of them believe that the 2020 election was a ruse.
Yep.
In this misinformation, this adversarial backlash is what is going to be our undoing.
Yeah.
However, I am very hopeful for the
So,
outcome.
Khameron, explain to people about the Great Replacement Theory, because this is something that you have written about, and it is something that we don't talk enough about.
Yeah, so I forgot the Fox News correspondent's name, but this theory occurred around the time when we had covered the story of the Haitian migrants
Hmm.
getting chased down on horses with whip-like instruments.
Right.
And this Fox News correspondent said that the influx of migrants of color is all intentional so that white people can become the minority in the United States of America, and that Democrats can like indoctrinate more docile voters,
Hmm.
which leads to the whole like white people believe that they're being replaced and that they're going to be part of the global minority and that the spirit of America is under attack.
I think that was Tucker Carlson.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Tucker Carlson, total idiot. But yeah, that's where it has come from. And of course, there's like a lot of it has been debunked.
Mhm.
Democrats scramble and fight over immigrants just as much as Republicans do. Nobody wants them in their states at all.
Right.
However, um, there there are more and more immigrants coming to the United States. That is only because they are fleeing violence.
Yeah.
They are
Look at
fleeing.
Venezuela and
Oh,
other places like that. Yeah.
yeah, and Pakistan is like over 900 people died in in a flood.
Yeah.
It's literally underwater now. So they have no place but to come here. They're not coming here to replace white people, though I wish they were. But they're coming here because they want to live.
It is nuts. It is nuts what is happening to our country. I pray for our future, and I'm very serious about this. This is one of the things I worry about at night, in the dark, and as I'm thinking about the day and what is to come. Also want to talk
And,
about. I'm sorry, Damon.
yeah, and it is nuts that will replace the white people. All right.
um,
One at a time.
Among the people that have been out there on the campaign who have been pulled back into it, if you will, is President Obama. And he was out there. He's been out there for several weeks now. And in his close to the voters, and I think this was in Pennsylvania, he told people that this is not the time to sulk and mope. Sulking and moping is not an option. You have to get out there and vote. And we needed to hear that. Some people needed to hear that. Um, he, harkened back to the time during the midterm elections when the Obama administration got a shellacking. Democrats did by Republicans, and which is normally the way in midterms. They don't like the power that is in the White House. And so this is an opportunity for the opposition to vote people in to be an even greater opposition to the power in the White House. In this case, the Biden administration has done a lot of things in just the last couple of years, pandemic related, as well as other social causes and economic things, talking about student debt relief, promising to codify the abortion rights in this country. I could go on and on with a number of things that the Republicans have absolutely stood, in lockstep against things. And so when the president has a popularity of less than 50%, it is almost guaranteed that the opposition is going to win, is going to pick up seats in the House and the Senate in the midterm elections. Well, of course, President Biden is now under 50%. He's about 45, 46%. And that is the fear for many Democrats, is that not only will Republicans pick up, but who will be leading the Republican Party as they do this. As right now, and as we explained in the newsletter, the Republicans need 5 seats in the House in order to flip it and for Kevin McCarthy to become Speaker of the House, putting Nancy Pelosi back in the normal chairs as representative from California. And they need one Republican to win a seat in the state of, preferably a state like Georgia or Pennsylvania, in order to flip that majority, or actually it's struck even at 50 votes each for the Republicans and for the Democrats. And that 51st vote is often the tiebreaker that is made by the vice president, right?
Yeah.
This is really scary. And that's why these elections are so important. That's why, because you look at the things like the fact that President Biden was able to nominate Ketanji Brown Jackson to the United States Supreme Court, when President Obama did not have the majority in the Senate, and it came time for him to nominate someone to take the place of Justice Scalia. The Republicans kept him just resting his heels, and he did nominate someone, and they would not put his nomination up in the United States Senate, in the Judiciary Committee or the United States Senate. And Merrick Garland is now the Attorney General. But had they done the right thing, because Mitch McConnell said, it's too close to the election. It was 10 months. He had 10 months in office. And as opposed to Donald Trump, who put someone up for nomination weeks before the presidential election. Republicans allowed that to happen when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. I'm telling you, I'm fascinated. I love this business of politics, but it's also very frustrating.
Yeah, and it's taken a turn for the worse. It used to be something that you could watch with, anticipation, and it still felt like a sense of unity as a
Yeah.
country. It just was just a difference of ideas. Now it's us against them. It's enemies within the union. So I don't know where we're going from here, but we know when it began and when it got inflamed and who did it. And we definitely need to make sure that he's not a voice or a power that comes back in because even in the Obama, which was racially divided, it still wasn't as much venom and division. So
Yep.
it was more about ideals. Now it's just about us versus them.
Yeah.
It's get out the pitchforks. It's violence being threatened.
Yeah.
It's a
And
sad.
nice people on both sides, and
Yeah, very fine people.
yeah. Right. Right. And as he has mentioned, next week, he is telling people, he being the former president, that he is going to throw his hat in for his third try for the White House.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get ready.
Yeah. I mean, we all know it's do or die for President Trump, but it's interesting if we look at the Republican Party. So many Trump clones have just popped up all over the place.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And they know that he's unpredictable. They know that he's difficult to control. So I will not be surprised if they tee up someone a bit younger to kind of like give him some go.
Yeah, look at the woman who's running for governor on the Republican Party in Arizona as an example of that.
Yeah.
Look at the man who is running for governor of Pennsylvania. He was there on January 6th, right? He had a busload of people he took with him. There are a number of Trump acolytes that are just poised to take over their state. And this will affect the counting of the votes. This will affect issues that come before them regarding a woman's rights to her body. And we could just go ad nauseum. I do want to mention a couple of other things that we do talk about in this issue of the newsletter. Pfizer study says updated COVID boosters rev up protection. So take a look at that. We are still on the case with COVID and other health-related topics, as well as the great Katrina Imcraft and her article, Make Your Estate Plan Move Proof. If you're planning to move to the Cayman Islands, for instance, there's certain things you need to do. And certainly she is giving great advice that. Once again, you can subscribe to our absolutely free newsletter. That is by going to SybilWilkes.com and giving us your name and your email address, and it'll be in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. Okay. As we mentioned, it's voting day. As the great singer Joe said to us many years ago, when is voting day? And so I've always loved that and try to mention that as often as I can in terms of election day. Here's our question of the day. Although we're voting, we're still not getting as many Black folks to the polls as they did in 2008 to vote for a Black president, or any other, or to get one particular president out of office. So the question is, what do you think it'll take to get more Black folks to vote, especially our younger Black men? And what do we need to say or do to get people involved and vote? And do we need different candidates? Do we need to talk about different issues and have them address the issues? So let's start with our young Black man. Sure. And Khameron, you are smarter than the average bear. Let us ask you, what do you think it will take to get the young people that you work with on a college campus more involved?
Yeah, there's a very complex answer to this, and then there's like a very simple answer to this. I'll abbreviate the complex issue or the complex answer. It will take an activation of agency, a mix of voter education, and an alleviation of the economy of time. And what I mean by that is that that Black people, poor Black people work 3 or 4 jobs. They perceive time differently, and therefore they don't think that they have time to participate in the democratic process. I think that the very simple answer to this, though, is if our state values our voice, and if certain voices are underrepresented, just pay them.
Pay to play.
Yep, just pay them to go vote.
Tom Jordan tried to do that years ago, and they're like, whoa, 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 just to get people to register to vote, and wanted to give away a Lexus, and people just put the brakes on that. Although in Chicago, that's usually a pretty good idea, in terms of what you get out of your vote and being paid to vote.
Yeah, I
Damon?
mean, votes are bought one way or
Or
another.
another,
You
yeah.
know, I don't think that
Right.
there's any issue with like giving somebody like a food voucher or like a meal voucher to go vote.
Or a job.
Yeah.
Or 6 wings with mild sauce. You just had
Why not?
you just had some wings and mild sauce at all polling places. The place would be full.
I
Period.
think you're giving Willie Wilson an idea there, Damon.
Oh,
He might
Um,
just do it.
Damon, what do you think? How are we not getting across, and what do you think will be necessary to get more folks to the polls?
Well, from a young people's standpoint, I think they're totally lost in the fact that the adults, the millennial, the Gen Xers, and the older people and the baby boomers are making such a fool of each other with the fighting and the bickering of it, and then they tune out from the commercials. The smear campaigns are also bad. So I don't know if we can get more popular artists to get more involved. Have a concert near the polling places. It's got to be something that's going to draw them based on their interests. Maybe if they could vote down the line on Xbox and PlayStation, if you didn't have to
Okay.
come in,
Yeah.
get the gamers involved, that would easily solve the issue.
And how about that, gamer? I want to hold on to that point there, Damon. How about Mr. Gamer as you get ready for your games tonight? Would that appeal to you?
I don't own a gaming console. I own a PC, so I can't speak for gaming console peasants.
But you are a gamer.
You have a chair.
You have what looks like a very bright and elaborate chair.
Yes.
Comfortable chair, yes.
Right. You have a gaming cockpit there.
That's a Gen Xer's a Barca lounger.
But just like they say, as they say, well, how Grand Theft Auto and Fortnite and such have such an influence on some of the things happening in the street negatively, maybe that way or virtually we could create something in the metaverse that can get more younger people and more tech savvy people involved. So it's not a matter of taking their time, as Cameron says, because people do what they enjoy doing with their time. So, it's a person that don't have time to vote, but has, 4 hours to play a game. So, that's just a thought. And of course, they'd have to have it encrypted so that it's not able to be hacked and be considered stolen again. So that's from the young
I think
people.
it's a fantastic idea. It's just that Sony's a Japanese company. So there's no way to follow that.
Well, people do want us to get away from TikTok for the reason that they don't like the security issue with China.
Maybe they could get a Zenith plug-in.
How about we bring our own American companies into this?
A Motorola plug-in.
Okay. The quality goes in before the name goes on. So the vote goes on, and we should have that. CM Williams says, in this election cycle, we have had some phenomenal Democratic candidates. If Black people don't see that, I don't know what to tell you. We have to do a better job of bringing those Black candidates to the people. I think that the Democratic Party has done a really poor job of getting out there to the streets and really supporting them, and starting with the top. I disagreed with the president talking about democracy being on the ballot, the future of democracy. I don't think that they get that. They're more talking about bread and butter issues, as they say, kitchen table issues, talking about the price of gas and how much further your money used to go than it does now in the grocery stores and things like that, and talking about and continue to talk about the consolidation of a student debt and what that looks like. We're not talking about the issues that really concern a lot of young people, like getting a job, buying a house, raising your family, going to a school and being able to, pay off your loans and things like that. That's
gas prices, escalating rent. These are things that are facing young people because a lot of young people are not going to be able to be independent at this point. So it's really like they say, it's the economy, stupid. But those like you say, bread, butter, table issues. It's rough out here. I mean, certainly it's going to get to the point where more people have to have roommates and share living spaces just
Or
to
living in your parents' basement, right?
or live with the people. Yeah. So there you have it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm Yolanda, I'm sorry I cut you off. You had Renita Bland said, and prayer. They have God on the money and have leave out of everything else. So we need prayer. Well, I'm doing my best, but
Jesus was a
I
radical organizer and believed in direct action.
yeah.
Uh, I don't think Jesus could have anticipated this monster that is democracy. But
Well, who was it that said,
prayer
was it the
works too.
crazy woman, Lauren Gobert from Colorado, said that if Jesus had an AK, he would not have been on the cross.
Yeah. Yep. That too.
Wow.
Democrats.
I don't know. I don't know. Brendan McCutcheon, I'm gonna have to take up drinking on a serious tip. Democrats' messaging needs to be stronger. We still act like we're dealing with a sensible party. Under Donald Trump, the Republicans have become that-ish crazy and dangerous.
Facts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to meet bullet for bullet. I don't want to meet rifle for rifle. I want us to continue to call out their craziness and to try to make people understand the rights and the wrongs and how all of this is so wrong. I don't know how we just got to continue to keep pointing it out.
Got to appeal to the humanity of people.
And then there's that. Have we lost that, Khameron?
No, again, I am like super altruistic and hopeful at the end of the day. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that I believe in intimate conversation, even though people have gotten a lot more tribal and
Mm-hmm.
cultish in their thoughts. But I believe that you can always appeal and impact a sensible human being.
Yolanda, I cut you off again. And yes, while we're waiting for the next comment, Damon, you were going to say?
Well, I mean, in a perfect world, that would be the answer and the solution. But even people who you consider to be sensible, people you think that have great common sense, or if the issue is so clean cut, black and white, right or wrong, there's still people that, for instance, for them to say, okay, we don't care if Herschel Walker is a ape. We need anybody in that seat so we can flip the Senate.
Right.
And I hate to apply that to a black man, but
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying. They don't care. They would put a giraffe in that seat if they needed to
Right.
I love
keep the
giraffes.
seat. And
Somebody
yeah, just
said in Georgia, I don't care if he performed the abortions himself.
yeah.
I will vote for him as opposed to Senator Warnock.
Wow.
There we go.
AJ Mine Plus 4 says you're on the right track. We should focus on activities that increase voter engagement as it pertains to tangible losses to the prospective voters. So here's your win and here's your lose. This is how you're going to get there. And people and see, this is the crazy thing. In Texas, the Democrats have normally depended upon the Hispanic vote, especially in South Texas. But and it's being seen now. The Democrats have depended upon the Hispanic vote. Now the Republicans are seeing how the Democrats have benefited from this, and this is as the Democrats are wont to do. They take that support for granted, and now the Republicans have moved in, and it's going to be interesting to see how this statewide vote ends up, and what part Hispanics play in the state of Texas regarding.
And,
Go ahead, Damon.
well, it's interesting in dynamics, especially with Mexican immigrants. The ones that are second generation, third generation,
Mm-hmm.
they are not leaning toward. They're more conservative. They're more right leaning lately
Yep.
because they feel like they are better than African Americans for
Yep.
one, and they
Yeah.
have the jobs and the positions economically because they're united. And it's very interesting to see that. And I mean, especially in Chicago. I don't know about like the different ethnic Hispanic groups in like Florida and Texas,
Right.
but I know that the way the Mexicans feel that they have shot us, and now that they're even better than African Americans, it's very interesting dynamic. And they're taking over jobs, warehousing, trucking, manufacturing, and then even some IT. So it's a very, it's like if you know, tough speak to anybody that works in a situation where now you have to learn Spanish to maintain your
Mm-hmm.
position because
Mm-hmm.
they have such a stronghold on the workforce. It's interesting to see that they're leaning less democratic.
Yep, absolutely. I'm sorry we've come to the end of this segment. I do want to revisit this question and answer period again, the same particular subject. It's something that we need to, as we're looking at the results tonight. I hope that we can continue. Dr. R on YouTube says we can't wait until the year of voting. We must educate the people year round.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely. And it's incumbent upon us to have those discussions and to talk about them tomorrow and tomorrow and the tomorrow after that and the tomorrow after that. Thank you, Dr. R. You're absolutely right. We can't wait till the week before
Till
the
voting day.
yeah, till
Yeah.
voting day.
And then
Right.
go around saying vote or die. What?
Right. Okay. It's now time to talk about these trending topics. Damon, and we know you're in the Cayman Islands. Where else might you be headed?
I'm coming home Saturday night, so I'm going to pop through Riddles with Melanie Camacho
Oh,
and
nice.
my girl Corey Bell. And then Sunday, I'm doing a benefit for a young lady named Kim Sellers for MS.
Oh, I love Kim.
Yeah, I'm doing Kim Sellers in Cleveland
Oh, you're
with
gonna go to
Alex.
Cleveland and do it. Okay.
Yes, with Alex Bouillon
Oh.
performing and the group, a Cleveland jazz group called Forecast. And then the following weekend is Houston, Texas, at the Comedy Lounge. Comedy spelled with a K for some reason. Uh, it's the
Hey, forgot to
Comedy
add
Lounge
me.
with the K.
That's my club down there.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's the next couple of weeks. I do want people to know that Thanksgiving weekend I'm going to the Stardome in Alabama, Hoover,
In
Alabama, which is
Birmingham.
out right outside Birmingham. Yeah, because I need that place to really crack. But we're up against the Alabama Auburn game on that Saturday. So I mean, that's not to say that people won't watch the game and then come get some laughs, but they're kind of concerned. That's why they gave me that weekend, so to speak. They want to see
Let's see
see
what
if
you
I
can
could,
do with
yeah,
yourself,
what type
Kim.
of numbers I could do with that. Yeah. So go Bama, go Auburn, go everybody.
Go see Damon.
How about that? Come laugh. Stardome.
Please give my love to Kim Sellers. She is a fighter. She is a
Yeah.
fighter. And also I want to talk about some other things that are going on. Khameron, how about you? How's work going?
Yeah, work is going pretty well. We just had the welcome gathering for the neighborhood center in Lawndale. So the only thing that's left to do now is to just run it. After the event, we had a bunch of food to give away, and kids from the community came up and just asked if they could take the food. I recall one black boy said like very, very small, but spoke like a grown man. And he was like, "Y'all got food in there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "What y'all got?" And I was like, "We have fried chicken wontons." And he was like, "The hell's a wonton?" And I was like, I'm like, so I'm thinking of, okay, how do I define a wonton without sounding intellectually superior? And so I was like, a Chinese cracker. And then he was like, all right. And I was like, I was like, yeah, man, you could take it and put it on a sandwich, and then you have a chicken sandwich for the whole week. And he was like, let me get that. And then
that is so old black man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
I mean,
what the hell is a wonton?
Chinese cracker.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. All right. Damon, the weather. I want you to get home as safely as possible. Hurricane Nicole, she's still a tropical storm, but you don't want to mess with those Nicoles, I'm telling you. Gaining
Nope.
strength east of the
Oh, tell me
Bahamas.
about
It
it.
will be a hurricane as it moves through the northwestern Bahamas and Florida. The coastal flooding, strong winds and flooding rain are expected along the southeast coast. Now we're talking about the Miami, Fort Lauderdale side of things. And this could just wreak more havoc. Not expected to be as tough as Ian was, and as strong and just as deadly as Ian was, but still, the last thing the state of Florida needs is another hurricane after Ian. Has a large wind field, means impacts will be felt across a broad part of the southeast coast. Far away from where its center tracks, winds are already frequently gusting over 30 miles an hour in the state of Florida, particularly near the Atlantic beaches and occasionally along parts of the Georgia coast. We were in Daytona Beach on Saturday, and it was really quite windy. And this was, before they were talking about Nicole. I think right about then they were starting to give Nicole a name. But warnings and watches are up along the Atlantic coast from Boca to Flagler. That's the Volusia County line, and remains in effect for Northwest Bahamas, including Grand Bahama Island. And that means hurricane conditions are expected in those areas.
And what's the time frame on these days? How many?
This is by Saturday. They are looking, where they are talking about is possibly, this is right now where these watches and warnings are going. It's expected to become a Category 1 near the Northwest Bahamas tomorrow, Wednesday.
Okay. I was just worried about Florida, because we go back Saturday through Florida.
Right.
Or not.
Or maybe that house that you have your eye on in the Cayman Islands may be available for, rental or purchase.
That might be. Worst thing can happen than getting stuck here.
Okay.
But hopefully, for the sake of the people in Florida and Bahamas, it blows over, so to speak. But yeah, I got to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. They say that it could Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Keep your eyes open for that. So definitely. Wouldn't you know, one person in California bought the winning ticket for the Powerball. That was eerily delayed. Wow. The drawing was delayed until today. But one winning Powerball ticket purchased in California in Altadena. That person will take home, well, not the full $2 billion possibly, but definitely that's what the Powerball is worth. Yeah. It's crazy. A single ticket, only one winner matched all 6 numbers. That's 10, 33, 41, 47, 56, and a Powerball of 10. The 1 in 292 million chance ticket was sold at Joe's Service Center in Altadena. That's in Southern California, just outside of Los Angeles. The drawing was delayed from the regular Monday night drawing after one participating lottery failed to report its sales and play data. All 48 participating lotteries are required to submit their sales and plays before the winning numbers can be drawn. The identity of the ticket holder, I don't have, but it will be publicized eventually, because California is one of those states where the winner's full name and the name of the location of the business that sold the lucky ticket are required to be disclosed. Under California public disclosure laws, that, as well as the total amount of winnings, any public information such as that, according to the California Lottery Winners Handbook.
Wow.
Wow, I wonder how much Joe's is getting for that, because it's usually a decent little bump for the vendor
nice
as well.
Change. So they'll get like 200,000 to or something along that, maybe even $1 million. Maybe they'll even get $1 million. Only 11 states allow winners to remain anonymous, and that winner has the option to take a lump sum payout, which would be the amount of $997.6 million. Or the annuity, which would be doled out in 30 graduated payments over 29 years. And of course, the IRS gets their 25%.
Wow.
I just knew. Had my name all over it. Yours too, because I was going to share with my friends, but here we are.
Damn it.
So we talked about some of the issues on the ballots, you guys. 5 states will decide whether to legalize marijuana today. Those states are Arkansas, Maryland, Missouri, North Dakota, and South Dakota. will follow up on moves by the president towards decriminalizing marijuana. Last month, President Biden announced that he was pardoning thousands of Americans convicted of simple possession of marijuana under federal law. Recreational marijuana is legal in 19 states, and opposition to legalization is softening, and that's why it's on the ballot in some of these states. Arkansas, Missouri, North Dakota, and South Dakota, quite conservative states. Maryland may be the least conservative of the 5. They also currently have legal medical marijuana programs in those states. In 2016, Arkansas became the first Bible Belt state to approve medical marijuana. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, we should have been legal in the Dakotas.
Okay.
I mean, it's like, what else can you do?
What else is there to do?
Right.
So that is the Powerball. That's marijuana. And Jay-Z and Jeff Bezos appear to be serious about going in partnership to buy the Washington Commanders, the Washington football team. They met up in Hollywood on Sunset Strip a couple of days after it was revealed. They both had mutual interest in putting in a bid for the Washington Commanders. Yeah, I'm going to keep saying that. The Washington Commanders. Dan Snyder revealed last week that he's exploring a potential sale, and their names immediately, their hands went up regarding that. Both men kept things low key as they were going in and out. Jay-Z was accompanied by Corey Gamble, who is Kris Jenner's boyfriend. And so maybe he wants in on the deal as well. The price tag they expect to be $7 billion. That's what Snyder is said to be looking for. And that is said to be pocket change for some of these folks. $7 billion pocket change. Of course, Jeff Bezos, the richest man on the planet. And he's got a lot of interest in Washington, D.C. already. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Anybody else interested? Would you want to get in on that with them?
I wouldn't know the first thing about running the football team. So no.
You think they do?
Right. Have you seen their record?
Dan Snyder certainly didn't.
Yeah. I'm just intrigued with the name change to the Commanders, and the other name change because anything that was Native American, they needed to change the names over. So when the Cleveland Indians changed their name to the Cleveland Guardians, it's really like that's almost like they said Guard Indians. Guard Indians.
See,
we're gonna keep
me
that Indian somewhere, right?
Yeah, go with me. Guardians in the Guardians,
Guard Indians.
Yeah. I didn't see the problem with calling them the Indians. They didn't call them the Redskins. I wonder if my high school, it used to be the Warriors, right, Damon? I'm not sure what will come out of this.
If they would have kept the Indians, they would just have to change it to some Middle Eastern man who just sitting like this.
I'm going to keep moving for your sake, Khameron. And this is kind of akin to what's going on in the world. Sophia Rosing will withdraw from the University of Kentucky today or tomorrow and enter a treatment program after she attacked a couple of Black students and the video went viral. Her lawyer said she's going to withdraw. The senior was captured on video repeatedly hurling racist slurs and physically attacking 2 Black students Sunday. This young white woman, just before 4 a.m. Sunday, and maybe she was ticked about the time going back. I don't know. But she was at a campus dorm on charge, and she was arrested on charges of intoxication in a public place, 3rd-degree assault on a police officer, 4th-degree assault, and 2nd-degree disorderly conduct, according to the record from the Fayette County Detention Center in Kentucky. She's been held on $10,000 bond. Video of the assault circulated on social media, showing her calling them the N-word. She strikes at one woman who's working. Now, this is the last thing you want to do. The sister that's working the front desk at the dorm. This is the last. You really had to be out of your ever-loving mind.
What is in Coors like? That does this? White people.
She's
Couple of Coors Lights and they lose their damn mind. Not only was she hurling racial slurs, she was slurring her slurs. She couldn't even
yes,
get them
slurring
out.
her slurs. Right,
It was
exactly.
slurred slurs. That
Yep.
damn Coors Light, boy.
It's like there's like
So,
a tiny Klansman in like every single can.
so did you guys see the congratulations to Dusty Baker, not to the Houston Astros,
Yes.
Peters. But I am a big Dusty Baker fan. Did you anybody see the parade the other day?
Oh.
The victory parade for winning the series?
I did see part that TSU led the march.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And the other part that I was going to bring up is Ted Cruz, who is seen at the game. He got booed in the parade, and somebody, speaking of course, somebody threw a can of White Claw at him from the crowd.
Nice.
And that person got arrested and has been charged and had to pay. I think they had like a $10,000 bond in which he was held in jail. He was taken to jail and faces assault charges. The senator made an appearance at the parade celebrating the Houston, and they were booing. They were giving him the finger. They were doing everything, telling Ted Cruz, "We don't like you." And we'll remember that when it comes election time. I'm just saying. And so the beer can struck him in the chest or neck area, according to the Houston police.
It hit him?
And yeah.
It deflected though. They hit a direct
because
shot.
somebody came to his aid and it kind of did, and they were.
It was like a Secret Service type dude. Yeah.
Wow. Good throw though.
But as humorous as that is. Yeah, as humorous as that is, we don't want people to start throwing at politicians because then, in turn, ours could get people we are rooting for. But just to see him duck, it was like George Bush with that shoe. But George Bush Jr., he was in the Matrix with that thing because he had two shoes. Exactly. Ted Cruz not so much.
Exactly. So have either of you ever had a White Claw?
Yeah.
It's a spiked seltzer. I've not had one. Is it good? Because it has a long history of they call it B beer, witch beer minus the W plus the B.
A lot of like some of the demonstrations that my sons participated in, there's White Claw on deck. Because it's an eclectic group of people out there that are kicking it. So it's more of a north side thing, I would say.
It's like a very pop culture drink now. It's got 0 calories, 0 sugar.
They said they call it a girly man drink, is amongst other things, and it was introduced by like the same kind of drink as Zima and Bartles and James. They're comparing the lineage to White Claw today and going back to Bartles and James and Zima and other liquors. The man has been identified who threw the White Claw as a 33-year-old Joseph Home Arcidiacono. It happened as they were celebrating the trip down downtown Houston, and of course he lives in Houston, but he left his dog and his the house there when they went to escape the frozen weather in Houston. How about that? About that? All right, guys, let's turn to entertainment. And Jimmy Kimmel will return to host the Academy Awards for a third time.
Yeah, he was a little lukewarm.
He previously led the ceremony in 2017 and 18. He said being invited to host the Oscars for a third time is either a great honor or a trap. Either way, I'm grateful to the Academy for asking me so quickly after everyone good said no. Do you believe that, Damon, that everyone good said no, or just as that was his joke?
Well, Jimmy, he's that type of dude to always downplay himself. But it's a huge honor, and I'm sure he probably even lobbied for it because after the Oscar slap, and they having them having the three hosts, the three ladies hosting, to go back to a traditional single host is a big honor for a comedian, and it's probably going to be on ABC, which is going to help his show and his ratings. And so, I don't think he was the third or fourth choice. I mean, I don't want to say it's because of his affiliation, but I'll leave all that out there. But yeah, we definitely weren't going to have a black host, and we definitely weren't having women hosts this year.
So I was hoping they would give the women another shot since it was overshadowed, and I thought they did a really good job. It was overshadowed by the slap. Everything else kind of fell by the wayside.
They had the chance, so it happened on their watch. See what happened when we had women.
Sorry,
host the
Wanda.
Oscars?
Sorry, Regina, and Amy Schumer. They had their chance. Okay.
They had their chance.
Okay. All right.
It's back to the white man.
So remember when he last hosted the Oscars? That one was when the wrong name was mentioned for Best Picture. Remember when they were saying, "Oh, it's La La Land," and it wasn't. It was Moon. What was the name of that movie? Moonlight. Moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
The black movie. And won, and La La Land lost, and that was I think that was the last time we saw Warren Beatty too. But anyway, good luck on you. I hope that. Would you like to do that, Damon?
Sure. I mean, of course, it's an honor, and it's a bump for your career, but it's a tricky audience because there's so many egos that you have to bounce around, and if you don't have the structure, the stature for them to respect you as an artist, then they're not even going to laugh. So it's like, who is he to joke? So I'd like to start maybe at the Soul Train Awards and work my way up through BET, then go from BET Award to the Oscars.
So you think that's what Anthony Anderson is doing? He does the Soul Train Awards, he does, and then does
NAACP. You get the Amateur Awards, and then you get your way on over to Oscar.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say that I'm putting your name in now, so they can come to Riddles and all of that, and be a part and see what a great talent you are.
Well, thank you. I look forward to the Oscar. But I mean, I just hosted the Chicago Urban League Gala, which is a really big thing in Chicago. And our esteemed mayor was there. That's my first time ever meeting her. She has no idea.
How did those jokes go over?
No, I didn't do any of them. I did slip one little barb, and I'm like, man, sharp. I wanted to say, let me get that jacket about you. But she was very cordial and complimentary, so it was a good time, and
nice.
I was glad to be back. It was one of the largest ever too. There was 1,800 people in attendance, and this is the who's who in Chicago business and industry, and philanthropists and clergy and politicians. So it's a cool thing. Nice. And my mother was there, and Charlie Wilson performed, and he did. I'm blessed. Uncle Charlie is on this move, man. He did over an hour and 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, still doing the Uncle Charlie. So it was a great night.
Good for him. All right, gentlemen, let's close out with our daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. A life reminder. Don't spend time trying to make sense out of ridiculousness, especially ridiculous people. Let's not try to make sense out of ridiculousness, and that may include some election results. Sure.
I know you're about to be in it. So you got your popcorn ready?
Oh my God. I am, Damon. I really am. I just don't know.
And chances are we won't get final results on a lot of areas.
And that's the other thing that we will not. In the Know Radio Magazine show. Hey, tomorrow, hear my interview with Sybil Wilkes in Memphis, Tennessee, Rochester, New York, and Chicago. We talk midterms. Please follow my page 4 times. All right, In the Know Radio Magazine show. Look forward to that, and a great time and a great interview. Thank you all so much. Guys, I'm glad that we're all back together. Safe travels, Damon. Enjoy the sun to you and the wifey. And Khameron, you know what time it is.
Yeah.
You're not
it's time to go back to your computer, not your console.
Exactly. Aloha.
See you.